All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get things kicked off? A lot of us know each other, but I record these calls so that other people can watch and kind of, they can't always catch the time we do it. So let's go, and I see one or two new faces. So let's go ahead and do intros. I'll kick it off. Welcome. This is our weekly Sunday Appliance Roundtable call. My name's Alex Taberry. My company's App Digital. I help appliance repair businesses like you with lead generation and improving your online presence. So let's go around and do intros, and I'll help kind of guide it. And I want to add one thing to our intros that I think might help stimulate some topics in conversation. So what we'll do is we'll just go around, and each one of you, if you can share your name, your business, where you service, and then one thing that you're trying to improve right now. Let's go ahead and kick it off with Jeffrey. Let's unmute you real quick, Jeffrey. I'm going to unmute you, and you're good to go.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? We good?
Hear you.
Jeffrey Ryan, coming out of New York City, Big Appliance Repair Incorporated, and I'm kind of back around here. It's like my third or fourth call. Great call, a lot of information, definitely a lot of powerful tidbits here. But as a company, for me personally, I'm still waiting to get my first COD. I'm 100% warranty, which is nice and all in the moment, but we all know we can't depend on that. So I'm always looking for tips on how to build from the ground up organically and getting calls where I don't have to depend on warranty work.
Cool. So Jeffrey, you would say that one thing you're trying to improve on right now is getting more COD work.
Yeah. I'm still a virgin in the COD game.
Cool. Let's go on over to Mark. I want to hear what Mark is trying to improve on. You've been doing this for a long time.
I got to get better with the new stuff. Some of the Samsungs, some of the LGs. I mean, I know you guys bust them out. I'm still afraid of them a little bit, so I'm learning as I go. But like I said, I'm old school. I grew my business in the old days with the yellow pages. So the yellow pages now are what you're trying to do with the internet and all that, the sales. So I'm kind of like built it before that, but still killing it. Too much work. I have like 33 people to call back in the morning. I mean, I kind of took the weekend off, and it just keeps piling up.
That's great. And for those that don't know, Mark, your business and where you're at.
Oh, it's Mark's Appliance. I'm out of Cleveland. I'm a suburb off of Cleveland. All residential, no warranty work at all, and been doing it for 37 years.
Cool. Let's go on over to Quintin. Quintin, your business name, where you're servicing, and whatever you're focusing on improving right now.
Okay, my business is Triple R Appliance Repair. I service the Houston metropolitan area, and right now I'm very new. Got a couple warranty companies online that I'm working for right now, but what I'm really trying to improve on is getting my systems in place, like my CRMs and things like that, so I can be more organized in my billing and things like that.
Awesome. Rochelle, how about you?
Well, I'm Miss Ward out of sunny, the popular Miss Ward out of sunny South Florida. My company's name is Laser Appliance Repair. We do a lot of residential. We also do commercial. Most of my work is COD. I got like 5 warranty calls, and I do my warranties basically only on Sundays in residences that I can actually get in the gate, because a lot of my clientele is high end, so they live in these communities that are restricted. What I'm trying to get out of my biggest thing is just, I'm all about diagnostics and future, being on top of the future curve, so I can make sure I rise with the wave. So I am big about LG, Samsung, and those, those particular appliances. But I also think the old school has a place. I think Mark is really going to do good because once he gets on the other side, he's bringing a wealth of information of understanding the basics of those systems, and he's going to be a beast. But that's basically all about. Oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Solid Steps to Wealth, and I'm authentic as they come. Let's just put it that way. Okay, that's it. That's me.
Awesome. And pardon me, your name is Home Technology Handyman, but you had introduced yourself before. Again, what was your name, business, location, and where you're trying to improve right now in your business?
Got it. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, and actually I'm going to talk to people at the same time. So Angel works for me. She just came on, but she's just getting exposed to the business. So we're going to talk both pieces. So my name is Lamar Station. I'm the owner of Home Technology Handyman of Louisville and also Bluegrass Appliances. So we're like I said in the name, we're in the Louisville market, and we've been in business for a year. And so right now we're in the process of breaking it out because we started as a home technology company. And so appliances has become a large part of our business, but it's getting buried under the home technology stuff. So we're just trying to break it out so we can have a market presence there. And at the same time, we just submitted the paperwork for Georgia. Angel's going to start up, pretty much overlay the same process down in Atlanta. So one thing that we're trying to focus on and get better at is just processes, just trying to maximize logistically our routes, our parts, just trying to, do process improvement over time. So that's just really what I'm focused on next quarter.
Awesome. Let us jump on over to Mr. Stephen Regal, or Greg Birch, also known as.
All right. Yeah, I'm a Greg Birch, and my company is called Greg's Grade A Appliance Repair. I'm located in the DFW, that's Dallas Fort Worth, and that's where I'm working it out of now. And the things that I want to improve on is like being able to check from the board and just, being able to really grasp the schematics, and also learning like what are good parts to keep with me so I can get those first call completion rates up. And that's pretty much what I'm working on now, is like basically just learning how to check from the board, save myself like more time and physical labor.
Great. Let's go on over to Laron, please.
You said me?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is the Laron Locklear, owner and operator of Trinity TV and Appliance Repair. I've been working on TVs about 3 years, appliances about a year. That's how working on the electronic side of the TVs, I got intrigued about the appliances. It's still a learning progress. I actually do this part-time. I don't do it full-time like most of y'all do. I still work a full-time job. So I may get 3 or 4 calls a week. And I'm good with that right now. So in about 3.5 years, I plan to go in it full-time. So hopefully by then the business will start picking up, return customers. The biggest challenge that I have is the sealed systems of the refrigeration side. That's what I want to really learn. And I think some mentioned about the schematics. Yes, it's different in appliance than it is in TVs, but it has the same concept, but it is different.
Kenneth, welcome to the call. We were just wrapping up a round of introductions. Do you mind introducing yourself, your business name, where you're servicing at, and one thing that you're focusing on improving for your business right now.
Okay, my name is Kenneth. How's everybody doing?
Great.
I'm with Poolman and Truck. I service the Charlotte area. I'm currently active duty military. I retire in about 3 years. I'm a gas turbine engineer for the Navy. So that's what got me interested in appliance repair. That and the fact of 17 years, Uncle Sam could teach you how to operate the business. I don't know anything about running a business, so I'm joining just for general information and to just better my skills. I think I've done pretty good. I started my business on December 4th. Here we are now, and I've had a pretty good run so far. And that's without actually going or picking up the ABC class, just based on things that I've been picking up. And no, I'm definitely going to get the ABC course. If not for nothing, just the information I've learned so far has been without having a course. So when I get the course, I know it's just going to be that much more powerful. So I'm just here for general information and connections and networking. And shout out to everybody, especially Uncle Mike and Miss Rochelle. Definitely inspirations and people to look up to.
Great. Thank you. Let's open it up a little bit. Has anybody heard anything in there? One of the reasons I wanted to ask everybody to call out something that they're trying to focus on improving. Did anybody hear something in there that somebody else is trying to improve upon that you might have some words of wisdom to impart on them, or maybe follow up with a follow-up question, anything like that? Just feel free to unmute yourself and jump in if you'd like. Okay. Let me see if I can help pull some stuff out of here. So I heard two things that I heard come up was improving reading schematics. Laron and Greg had both mentioned that, I believe. Would either of you guys like to clarify, like, what is it about the schematics? Like, what is it that you're having trouble with, and in what areas do you feel like you can or need to improve your schematics game?
Yeah, like far as with me, like the more I look into it, it comes back to me because, like, I had got a background as being an electrician, so we had to read schematics and also draw them and do PLCs and stuff like that. But so, like, my whole thing is like locating certain stuff, like looking at the schematic and figuring out exactly where it is on the appliance. And I think just with me, I just gotta, just keep going over it every day, and it'll like kind of come back to me. Because like when I was an electrician, we pretty much, that's all we did was troubleshooting. So that's like one of my strong points. But yeah, it's just like, like if it's a thermistor and I see it on the schematic, I want to know exactly where it is, on the appliance. Even though now that I think about it, I know, but it's just like, I just want to get better with it, more precise, to be honest with it. But as far as reading it, I pretty much, I understand how to read it. I just want to get more precise with it.
Okay. Laurent, would you say that where's the friction points for you with the schematics?
I think it's like anything else, Alex. The more you do it, the better you get. You didn't learn how to ride a bicycle the first time you got on it. Mm-hmm. You're going to make mistakes. You got to learn from your mistakes and just keep going. Don't get down on yourself. Hey, everybody else that got started in it, they pretty much probably started the same way we are. It's a learning curve at first. And probably once we learn it, then, you know how technology and stuff is. It changes. It changes overnight sometimes. And you kind of have to keep up with it. It's kind of like, I think Mark, it's changed in 15, well, even the last 10 years it's changed. I still got my wash machine and dryer is still 12 years old, as long as it works. I don't need to put another one in there.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that it's a matter of, you know, riding a bike. It's like the more time spent looking at those schematics and connecting what you're seeing on those schematics to the actual appliance that you're looking at is going to become more fluid. Mark, you've been doing this for a long time. Do you feel like it's like riding a bike? Are there any particular things that, you know, any particular things that can help speed up that learning curve, in your opinion?
No, I mean, it's repetitiveness, because a lot of times if you're pulling out a schematic, you're in trouble, you know, in a strange way, because a lot of the stuff I see is it's the same thing over and over. When I got to pull a schematic out for like something odd, I'm sweating, you know. So in the old days, the schematics were better. They had pictures of everything, and it showed you where the defrost timer was. It showed you where parts were. Now the schematic is just a big mess, a drawing. And yes, when you know it, it's great. But when you're looking at it, trying to figure out where the hell that part is on the machine, there's a lot of tear apart, like trial and error. You tear a GE dryer, you pull a whole drum out to find the thermostat. You're spending time learning, but it's the only way to learn is to tear something apart. I've had some products where I'd bring them to my house. I'd have a good customer when Samsung's first came out. I tell the customer, look, I'm not that familiar with the product. I'm going to bring it home. I tore the thing apart in my garage, fixed it, learned it, and brought it back to them the next day or 2 days later. You gotta, you know, I feel bad for some of you guys just starting out, because the products now are a lot harder to fix than when I started. You know, so you know, I know you guys are saying, hey, with my first year in it, it's tough. That's got to be a tough one.
Rochelle, I know that you're really big on like the pre-planning and the pre-game. How much of your, how much of all the work that you're doing pre-call is looking at schematics? And where do those play in, if at all?
Well, for me, you know, it's imperative that I do that, because just like Greg was talking about knowing exactly where it goes. The reason I'm a big Samsung fan is because the engineers and technicians actually do the troubleshooting and fast tracks. And once you get familiar with it, it's like ABC, because they actually give you a picture of the PCB. They point out exactly what it is. On the PCB itself, they document this is the, you know, like they'll have a block for just the thermistors. They'll tell you whether it's ambient temperature, fresh food, things of that nature. All you have to do is learn the resistance, and they're basically all the same thermistors. But, you know, my biggest deal is, as long as the older the appliance it is, the harder it is for me, because those schematics are authentic old school schematics. Then for something like that, I go to Appliantology, listen to Scott Brown, and I'll walk through his process, his Tango, you know, and he has a troubleshooting process called Tango, and I go through that. He also has webinars with tech sheets, and I print those tech sheets. So my biggest thing is I got to have a plan of attack, because when I go into the job with 3 estimates already of what it could be, so that I can deliver that immediately to the customer. I do research on parts and what breaks. I mean, because I'm a data person. So that's my strong point, especially if I haven't looked at it before. Like a gentleman just sent me the car microwave. He's having an issue with one of the guys in the group, ABC group. And I explained to him, because it's in the wall, he's like, I'm trying to figure out how to get to it. I said, dude, you got to have pictures. So you got a game plan of not just the model number, the serial number. You need to see how it's bolted into the wall, if it's a double oven situation. Like, I am an analyst by trade. You follow me? So the way I go at everything is I analyze, and I always look at my costs and my loss. You understand what I'm saying? So when I go talk to the customer, I can explain the Samsung in layman's terms. The thing I love is that people are afraid of Samsung and LG. That leaves that market wide open for me. You understand? But then when I have to go back and deal with an older appliance, it lets me know my weakness. And since I am so hard on myself, because I refuse to fail at any damn thing, I go back and beat myself up, and I'll be like, okay, I need to understand when I look at this schematic, like that damn timing thing and that thing on the dishwasher, like on the timer, how you have to look at the different schematic and how that schematic is separate. And like I said, I had that damn Mark, I was telling you about that Maytag dryer. You know, you go in, you want it all to be damn easy. You check all the thermostats is good. You check the heating element. You got continuity. I said, okay, this is some bull, right? So then I had to go back up to the timer, and then come to find out it's the switch in the motor. Who knew that they fit that switch like that? But you know, because I had done the research on the parts that fail on that, it was one of the top 4 parts on our websites, the damn motor. And you thinking, okay, if it needs a motor, that means, oh, the motor seized, that's the issue. No, the issue is the design, you know? But if I didn't have that research, I couldn't have, you know. That's why Bobby Howard be getting on me talking about, I can't believe you do all that research. I said, dude, it's not my industry. I come from automotive. If I'm working on a car, it's overheating. First thing I'm looking at is water flow, thermostat, water pump, da-da-da-da, and then whether it's a blown head gasket. I can do that off the top of my head. That's my area, you know?
Yep.
But that's my game. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like to know what I'm doing before I get to the customer because I want to get in and out and fast as possible.
And I charge top dollar, so I gotta look the part. I gotta go in. I go in with my iPad and my blah blah blah. Pull up my schematics. I look the part, even though I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I look good at it. Enough for them to believe it, to believe the hype. It's the illusion, baby. It's the illusion.
Now, I know we were talking about perceived value before, and it is definitely important. Let's switch it up a little bit, and I believe it was Quintin was talking about how he's trying to improve his systems. And Quintin, you had mentioned CRM. What are you using right now for your CRM or any other components of your systems?
Right now, I'm not using anything. I'm old schooling it with Notepad and my paper and making my appointments on my Google Calendar. And I was looking at a Zoho, which Mike Sneed recommended, but it was kind of difficult for me to set up, so I wasn't really sure how to set it up on my mobile device. So I was not right now. I'm just trying to look at some other CRMs, but right now I don't have a CRM actually in place. I'm just doing everything on my Google Calendar, setting up my appointments and things like that.
And I'm curious, are you looking for kind of just capturing your prospects, your leads, and managing that flow through that pipeline?
Yes.
Or are you looking for that and also the sort of the scheduling aspect in systems?
Kind of putting them both together where I can get my leads and my prospects as well as a way to keep track of my appointments, parts that I've ordered, when they come in, and things like that. So that way, when parts I've ordered, like I just ordered some parts for a customer and they told me they would be here by Wednesday. Then I called to check on the parts and they tell me, oh, well, that's a back order. It's old, and now it's going to be another 7 to 10 days. So now I have to call my customer back and let her know, you know, hey, they're telling me something different. Good thing she's really laid back customer, so I didn't have an issue with that. But that's just kind of how I want to be able to track my parts, what I ordered, when I went to a particular customer. So in case they ever call me back and say, hey, this is what happened, I can pull them right up on I don't have to go looking through paperwork.
Definitely. So I know that Mark is an old school pen and paper guy. Can I see, because I don't know whether you guys have the speaker view or the grid view, but I'm able to see everybody. Let me just see a quick show of hands for those that are just using pen and paper right now for their back end systems. So we've got Jeffrey, I know Mark did. Lauren, what are you using for your systems? I mean, you're running only, like you said, you're doing this part-time. Are you using any kind of systems and software, or are you just pen and paper in it? Okay, you're muted, but I see you shaking your head, so I think it's a pen and paper for you.
Yeah, you could say that to a degree. I know I moved my invoices. I got an app for it for all my invoices. So
and what are you using for your invoicing?
Hold on, and I'll tell you exactly.
I'll write this down so I can look at it.
Yeah, well, he's looking at that. QuickBooks is one from the accounting side. Most people probably heard of QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And then also CRM, one that I use, but it would not tackle the parts and the scheduling, is one called SalesFlare. And while Laurent's looking that up, Lamar, I didn't see a hand up for you. Are you pen and paper, or what are you using for your kind of CRM and backend systems?
Yeah, so let me back up. So we're a franchise. So the franchise requires us to use House Call Pro to do all of ours. And now the challenge I ran into is that House Call Pro doesn't have an inventory piece. So Angel found this Sortly is the name of the program. And so it, allows us to track that inventory piece, especially as we start moving to like flipping appliances and stuff like that. That's becoming more important. But we also use QuickBooks. We're still trying to, make sure we're synced up with House Call Pro and QuickBooks, but the accountant does use QuickBooks right now.
Cool. I saw Laurent jump back on. Yeah, Laurent, what is that app that you're using for your invoicing?
I just looked at it, just says invoices.
Okay.
It's I was using another one and I didn't like it. So I switched over to this one and I like it. They just got a good update on it. So I even like it better since they updated the version of it. And see, that also keeps all my contacts in there also. So if I have to go to a repeat customer, all the information's already in there. The address, the phone number. So it's working for me right now. I mean, when I retire, it may be something different.
Cool. Lamar, you had mentioned kind of needing to use separate platforms, and the more that any business and any industry is trying to use technology and different platforms, in the tech world, they call it a tech stack. It's like a stack of different softwares used. Sometimes there can be disconnections, but if you have anybody on your team that is a little bit more technically inclined or savvy, check out something called Zapier, Z-A-P-I-E-R. It is online software that is, the whole point of it is connecting different platforms. So that could be something where you could, for example, possibly connect House Call Pro to QuickBooks. It depends on each platform. And this is using something called, in the technology world, we call them APIs, Application Program Interface. I'm getting that a little bit wrong, but it depends on each software. But that is something that, and that's one of them. There's different ones out there, different platforms out there where their whole point is connecting different software. Another one that I'm familiar with is called Razor Sync, RAZORSYNC. They are essentially like CRM and more system for specifically for like fleet-based businesses. So appliance repair companies are very much one of the business types that their software is made for. And it's really nice. So it's one of my clients uses Razor Sync, and they use it. We do all kinds of online lead generation for them, and those leads get automatically pushed into Razor Sync, and they have a schedule. So then they have their dispatch person in the office that will call those leads back and work them through into whether they're getting a service call or not, and then they put them right into the schedule, assign technicians, and it has invoicing and parts, inventory, all part of it. So Razor Sync is another option for you to take a look at, Quintin and anybody else. I was going to ask Rochelle what she's using, but she's taking a dinner break or something. I mean, any other kind of systems, CRM things that anybody wants to bring up, or? All right, let's keep it moving. Lamar, you were talking about improving processes, and I heard you mention routes and parts. You know, we were kind of, I guess, touching on parts a little just now, but you know, what are you doing so far? What are you doing right now to work on those processes?
Yeah, so the first thing we're doing is breaking out the two companies, like I said. So the appliance company is actually Bluegrass Appliance Parts and Service. So we're going to take back some of the money I'm giving the local parts stores and do that in-house. That's number one. Number two, that's where Angel is on board. She's going to be the one who is going to handle all parts. So, because right now they come into the office, the two people who pretty much answer the phones and schedule stuff in-house called Pro are same ones that are trying to get parts, you know, tracking it on the board and everything. So I want to break that out because it's becoming, from a cost standpoint, it's becoming significant. And it just needs that total focus. So to have somebody focus on it, they can kind of get the pain points and really help us improve and drive down cost and time to the customer over time. But now what we are doing though is we're drawing a line in the sand. So we're figuring out what the dollar amount is of things that we're going to have the warranty company cover and things that we're going to do ourselves. The challenge with having the warranty company cover it, or the cons of having the warranty company cover it, is that it takes a while. They're just slow. They're slow getting to the customer. So you got this job hanging on your board forever. And, you know, and the principle of work in process is the longer work stays in process, the more it costs and the more errors you're going to have. So we're trying to reduce that cycle time on there. Of course, the pro of having the warranty company do it is that's not cost that I'm taking on and having to, you know, take out of my checkbook and wait for the net payment. So that's kind of where we're at right now as far as parts go.
Okay. And I'm curious, what is the franchise called? Bluegrass or?
So the franchise is called Home Technology Handyman. And where our franchise agreement is going to end in April of 2021. So, you know, strategically part of that is, okay, now let's go ahead and start building this brand up as we ramp the franchise down. So
Cool.
Sorry, Bluegrass is just an LLC in my name. So we're kind of getting rid of the franchise side of the house.
Smart. You're planning ahead. What about, where are you at with your processes with routes?
So we're at the beginning of the process of improving with routes. So what happens today, as is process, is, you know, I create a map and then I pinpoint all the locations on the map. And you can probably see, if you see my wall over there, that's one of my maps I have, map of Kentucky. And then I have a paper printout, kind of like a Google map, and I just do all the points with all the key information just to try to make sure I'm doing the most efficient. But I don't have like, you know, so that's straight pen and paper pretty much. I don't have like a program I can just drop everything down into and then start, you know, figuring out how I need to run things. That's kind of where I want to get. But as of today, it's manual. It's a manual process.
Okay. Yeah, I wish that Bobby Howard was on the call, because I know that he has some real good experience and info with kind of route setting, and you know, maybe on a future call when you guys are both on, we can come back to this topic. I know that one of the things that he's talked about, how many techs do you have right now, Lamar?
Myself and another tech, so just 2 total.
Okay. I know that one of the things that he was talking about in the past was like looking at your overall service area and then figuring out what the quadrants are, and then trying to schedule it according to that. So let's just say hypothetically, you know, there's a west side and an east side, and then just trying to batch the service calls scheduled and the repairs scheduled onto the west side, like on the, you know, even days, and then east side on the odd days. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have for that one. Anybody else? I know that we've got newer folks and single person operators. Anybody else have any thoughts on route setting and logistics around routes?
There is a app called Road Warrior.
Okay.
And I used to use that when I had a window cleaning business. What I would do is put all my addresses on Road Warrior, and they route them to where I would go to, let's say, the furthest one, and then it would work me right back to close to my home. That worked out really well. And I know it's a little different trying to use it with appliance repair because you have scheduled appointment. But with the window cleaning business, I kind of just had them set for a particular day. Then that way I could go in and put all the addresses into Road Warrior, and it would route me to my furthest one, and then route me back towards my home.
I need to look at that. I'm definitely keyed in on the whole quadrant idea because with the warranty companies, for the most part, I choose, when I'm going to, or what window I'm going to put somebody in. But what's happening today is the people in the office are just, making appointments and throwing them in windows. And so what happens, you go to that day and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the most efficient route for that day? As opposed to if the day's already set and you have a quadrant, then if you get an appointment and it's in this zip code, this is the period you're going to put them in. So I'm actually conceptually, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And you had just mentioned windows. Do you do like service call windows of 2 to 4 hours or
3 hour window?
Okay. Yeah. So I imagine that kind of syncing or integrating those call windows, the service call windows with the different areas is going to fit in there. Hey, Rochelle, I'd be curious your take, your input on this. We're talking about route setting and pretty much the best way to kind of be efficient with trying to set our routes. And I don't know if you're on a call or not. I think she's on a call. So.
No, I'm right here.
Cool.
Right here. I was just talking to my better half. All right. So, what was the question?
What works well for you when it comes to setting routes for your techs and yourself?
All right. So, what works best for me is, give me 1 second. I'm gonna call you right back. Okay. All right. Bye. What works best for me is there are two things I use. Anybody who has heard me, I use House Call and I use Road Warrior. Okay. So House Call works best for me because the thing I like about House Call, as I said, I target markets with high-end, high per capita incomes. They got to have discretionary income to pay me. And so when I use House Call, it gives me a zestimate of the house. And most of the houses I go in are, low end, maybe 750, but usually, so we use that. And with House Call, it actually lets the customer know your GPS location. A House Call Pro, it notifies the customer you're on the way through text message. You also can invoice through that product. Now, I don't use it for all that because I run things through Square because of account, and then I upload to all that myself. But that's what works for me. We work in 2-hour window blocks, and we have early and late appointments. My first appointment is 6 a.m. So we offer a 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. block and a 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. block for people who aren't home and things of that nature. Of course, they premium because those normal hours, but we offer that. As far, and from that information, we with House Call, you can gather all your CRM information as far as, and I gather it through Square as far as customer information and things of that nature.
Do you do anything in particular, or do you kind of approach your scheduling in any kind of certain way to avoid, for example, driving back and forth all day between each
Yeah.
service call window.
Yeah, we try to block it out in certain areas, but some things just can't be helped, just the way Florida's designed. Like prime example, I try to have like a Miami day or something like that, and a Broward day and a Palm Beach day, but it never works out that way. So what I'll do is I try to start my jobs early morning in Miami because I hate the traffic. And I'm usually in the farthest part of Miami, like Homestead, Kendall. Those are really, really far south. And then I have the islands. Now I might, if I'm on an island like Key Biscayne or like in Palm Beach Island, those are a little different because of how the geographic locations of Florida and the way it's structured. So if I'm in Key Biscayne and in that area, those homes start at about 2 million. And I'm talking about the condos. By the time you get to the houses, I have several customers there. Those houses average 4.5 million and up. So that kind of area, you kind of have to stay in that area, give them that service, and then get out. And they're very understanding. Like you schedule them in, and those are some of my 6 a.m. clients, a lot of them, because of how their days are scheduled. But that's what I do. But when I can't avoid that, I start early in Miami and I end up in Palm Beach or Martin County, with Port St. Lucie, Stewart, places like that.
Awesome.
I have a question for the group. So when you're running all these jobs during the day, I'm curious, how are you, anybody can answer this, keeping the notes updated, as far as, hey, I went to job A, I got to order these parts. Here's kind of what the scenario I ran into. I got to come back, whatever, for the next person to pick it up if you're running multiple techs, or maybe you have the same tech running the call. But I'm just curious, like, what process everybody uses, because that seems to overwhelm me. I mean, I get to the end of the day and it's just like, oh crap, I got a lot of paperwork. I'm trying to get more, how can I have a flow, close stuff out as I'm going through the day, or does that make sense? Just curious.
Well, if somebody want to answer that before I jump in?
I do something, but it ain't nothing. It's just something I came up with to help me out. But basically, what I do is just like if I go to a customer house and I have to like leave notes and remind myself to get parts, I just send myself a text message and go back through it. I like put the customer name, the make and model number, what parts I got to do, and what I did. And I just send the text message to myself. Then when I get home at the end of the night, I go back and read everything and do what I got to do.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, for me. Hey, Darian.
Hey, what's going on, Rochelle?
You gonna put your input in here?
Yes, real quick. What we do on our end, since we run with Home Field, we have Dispatch Me. On Dispatch Me, we can upload the pictures of the model number, serial number, put the notes in there. When the tech finishes their part research, they can drop the part number in there. So on the back end, at the end of the day, all your information is right there for you, and you can close everything out in a timely manner, or throughout the day if you have the time to actually get to it, or have somebody actually waiting, grabbing all the information and knocking it out throughout the day.
Awesome. And Kenneth, I think that you were jumping in with how you handle that.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? So I made me a little check-in sheet for my customer and for me. So I get a call from the warranty company, and most of the same information that the warranty company wants is already on the sheet that I wrote. Name, claim number, phone number, email, service call, whatever the company is, the model number, serial number for the stuff. And I also put a section down there for diagnosis and notes. And that's what I do. I start off with what the customer was complaining about. I write that down, and whatever notes and whatever I diagnose and, whatever parts I need or whatever, I write that on that section as well. As long as what it'll cost me to do the job. And then I send that information off to the company as a diagnosis and wait for my approval. I write the approval code down there on there as well, if I have one, and I go from there. That actually works for me a lot.
Cool. What about you, Rochelle? Oh, I think you might be
guys
frozen.
ready for me?
Yeah, go ahead, Rochelle.
I am.
I can hear you though.
So this is what I do. I have like a, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so basically what I do is I triple shoot things. Me time diagnostic time. When I go into a customer's home, like a phone of 30 minutes. I'm not doing this longer than 30 minutes. My goal is 15. So for the first 15 minutes, I'm in there doing the 15 minutes. It's already ready. Not only estimates, I actually have stuff loaded in Marcone's cart 99% of the time because I've done the research. So what I did is I go in, I submit it to the customer through Square because I have the estimates ready. The customer accepts, pays a 50% deposit. While I'm talking to the customer, I'm on my phone, I'm actually ordering parts. Like, that's how I move because I'm laser. Like, that's my whole focus. I have stages and steps. Now, if it's something that, something like with my techs, what I do, when they're at the job, they're submitting what they diagnose. While they're submitting it to me, I actually will reach out to the customer via Square, because the same thing I'd have with mine, I've done the research on theirs. And 99% of the time, the jobs I'm giving them are not as technical as mine that I'm personally handling. You follow me? So I'll have that stuff ready to go. Like, for instance, we know when we go to the Samsung and it's not heating, I'm not playing with them. I already got it loaded with the full assembly. I don't believe breaking shit down, rebuilding, putting a little heater coil in the middle. I don't live like that because I'm not coming back, you know. And then at the same time, I've already got a belt kit done. I've already got a roller kit done, pre-packaged and loaded in my invoices. So when I shoot it to the customer, the deal with customers, when you respond in an expeditious manner, they approve it and keep it going. The beautiful thing about Square, once they accept it, you can send them an invoice immediately, add a payment option of them paying 50% up front. That's money in your bank so you can pay for the parts. Like, that's how I move. I don't play because the longer I take, I got other issues to handle. You follow me? I can't afford to be delayed. And so, but I'm dealing with those clients, like I'll go in and deal with a Samsung. Everybody know about the evaporator cord, the defrost issue, the evap covers. I was talking to a guy the other day and I couldn't believe he never did an evap cover. I'm looking at him crazy. What you mean you just put a sensor in and put some foil around it? What is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, but I also have, what I see most people do is they sell from their pocket. You are the professional. You go in and you sell it like the professional you are. You know what I mean? So that's how I do it. Like when I walk in, I'm ready. Like, you guys give me a scenario, I would tell you off the rip exactly how I handle it. And how that way I get up. And I do power blocks on about 6 to 8. And then I'll go 9 to 11, blah, blah, blah. Because in that time, this is why that time management and because in between that, you got to get the parts order. You got to have demographic I deal with. I know they got discretionary income. Then they always ask you, well, is it worth the repair? By the time I went in, I've already looked at the value of the item. If it's a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 refrigerator, I'm making sure whatever job I'm doing is between like a $500,000 range. You follow me? Because I'm going to make sure it's a percentage of the price of the unit. Then if the customer says they should get a new one, I send them links of what's on sale. I'm already ready. And then they be like, oh, hell no, I'm not about to go spend this. Let me fix this. How long will it take? And then I tell them the parts take 24 to 48 hours. Now, what I do in the meantime, I've ordered the parts and I have couriers deliver. I'm not missing a beat. I don't wait on, and then so I live a perfect life. And Compass is the main distributor for Samsung and LG. And they're all in this tri-county area. So it takes, I place all my orders. I pay the courier $30 to $50 to deliver them. So then the next morning I have all my orders. And then if I have text with orders, I have them delivered direct to them.
Nice.
That's how I operate, like a machine. I hope I answered
Like
the
a
question. I
machine.
got a little hyper. I got a little excited.
Lauren had dropped in the
Like a
Lauren had
machine.
dropped in the chat about Voxer being a good app for communicating amongst the team. I know that Bobby Howard with Capitan Appliance also, they just got set up on Voxer, and they use that to like communicate need for parts and troubleshooting. They'll even use it for like kind of like intercompany real-time tech support as needed. So that's something that works for some other folks. And then also I know that Nick Earhart with West Metro Appliance, he's the gentleman that I was referring to earlier with Razor Sync. So what they do is in that system, you know, they'll create a work order for each repair, and then they'll use that work order to add the notes in, and then they'll you know, they'll coordinate amongst themselves with the follow-up from a different tech going back or needing to order a part, and then therefore reschedule or whatnot. But yeah, no, this is a great question, Lamar. We're at the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Did anybody any closing remarks or comments or anything that anyone wanted to chime in with before we wrap up?
I just got one question, and I know that you guys do this, I think, every Sunday at 8. So when that time, how do I find out? How do I get to you guys on Sundays? Or just go to the group or to the Facebook group? I mean, how do I find out? Because I had to kind of search around. I just kind of wanted it today, but how do I get to it to get to you guys on Sunday at 8?
For sure, yeah. So there's a couple ways. So I will always post up in the Facebook group. I post in 3 Facebook groups: Appliance Apprentice Group, Appliance Pro Talk, and Appliance Repair Servicers.
Okay.
So I will post up on Sunday morning with, and what I try to do is I try to tag folks. Quintin, what is your Facebook like username? And I'll make sure I tag you.
RRR Appliance Repair.
Okay, so on Facebook, you are RRR Appliance Repair. So I'll add you to that kind of list. I copy and paste every week and tag. And then also, if you'd like, you know, you can just save. The meeting info does not change. So
Okay.
the hyperlink, the meeting ID, and the password that I post up every Sunday morning, that stays the same week over week. So you can always just save that in whatever form you want. And then also, I have a Google Calendar event that recurs every week. And if you want to get that on your calendar, let me know. I can follow up with you to get your email, whatever email address you want me to add to that calendar event. And you can get that on your calendar that way also.
Okay. Yeah, because I already have, because Miss Ward from ABC, she had posted about this group a while back, and I tried to find it. And then she also told me about the Appliance Apprenticeship Facebook group, so I joined that. And I was just, so now I have my clock set to 8 o'clock every week. So it goes off every week, but it sometimes just wasn't sure how to get to the group. So now that you're telling me that the information doesn't change, I'll just set that in my phone so that when my alarm goes off, I can just come right in on Zoom and sign in.
Cool. No, that sounds good. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, unless there's anything else, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'll be back. We'll be back here same time next week. And hope you guys have a great week.
Right.
And thank you for all the participation. As I've said before, you know, the value of these calls really depends on who shows up and what we throw out there. So, you know, these calls are as good as you guys make them. So, and I think they're pretty awesome. Cool. Take care. Have a nice rest of your night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thank you.